just the top 2%.
Honourable Chester Burrows.
Mr Speaker, the country is looking forward to the delivery of another budget tomorrow, Bill English's fifth budget, and I'm looking forward to it too. And it's going to be a budget that is built around four principles. Responsibly managing the taxpayer's dollar, because on this side of the House we understand that the government doesn't have any money of its own, it takes it from the taxpayer. It is not an endless source, and if we're taking too much from the taxpayer, there's not enough for them to be able to make ends meet. And that is why this government lowered taxes, and that is why this government is being frugal in the way it spends it. It's also about building a more competitive and productive economy, because what we know is that over the near decade that government from that side of the House was in power, the productive part of this economy did not grow at all, didn't grow a single job. It's about delivering better public services, because what that party did in government was to grow the public service so big that it was like a millstone around the neck of the New Zealand taxpayer. And now we're setting about putting that right. It's about supporting the Christchurch rebuild, because as our second biggest city in this country, that has to be a priority. What the parties on that side of the House has never understood is that a budget is about jobs and growth if it is about nothing else. And what they hate, what they absolutely hate, is in the last quarter, unemployment fell by 6.2%. And they hate it. They absolutely hate it. In our electorate, my electorate, Whanganui, which includes South Taranaki, we see firsthand that this country is built on pastoral farming, and the Greens hate that. And I want to ask them a question, and the question is this: how much free education, health and welfare would you have in this country without pastoral farming and principally without dairying? And the answer is stuff all. And they don't care. They don't care where it comes from. They believe that farmers are dirty dairyers, those involved in dairying. They hate all that sort of stuff. They have no recipe whatsoever to replace the income that we would get if they had their way. In Taranaki, we've got 480,000 dairy cows in the Taranaki province. The contribution that made... Well, I'll start with Blossom and Elizabeth, and I'll get to your ones after that. On our single site at Warriroa, we produce 2.5% of this country's gross national product. How well do you think this country would do without a site like the Warriroa Fonterra site? Shortly, in the next 18 months or so, Todd will be drilling 41 more wells around Taranaki, and I say good on them. They're building a rig to be able to do that right now. Within Taranaki, for instance, and in Whanganui, within my electorate, with dairying and oil and gas, we add to this country's growth. We add money into those taxpayers' coffers, because, of course, they are paying tax, they are paying royalties on these things. And what does that do? That educates our young people. That keeps people well and healthy so they can work, and Labor and the Greens hate it. And we know that they hate it because if they ever, God forbid, gain power in this country again, what are they going to do? They're going to introduce a capital gains tax. That's one thing they're going to do. They're going to raise personal tax rates. They've said they're going to raise personal tax rates, and the hard case thing is that on one day they believe that you're rich in this country, and on the top tax rate if you were earning $60,000 a year. And the very next day, with no explanation whatsoever, they doubled it and said, oh no, you're not rich unless you're earning $130,000 a year, and we'll charge you the top tax rate after that. They're going to increase the carbon tax. They're going to make it more expensive to do business through that. They're going to purchase generating capacity, which will lead to higher power prices as well. And then the other answer they may well do is print money. God help us if they ever get the opportunity to do that. Then they're going to put up the minimum wage to $15 an hour. So on any public holiday, any little dairy owner is going to have to earn $52.50 just to make ends meet. Absolutely dumb and ridiculous. Let's look forward to this budget announced tomorrow. Jobs and growth, and that is what it's all about.
Claire Curran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. How can the New Zealand